Hello and welcome to today's edition of Your Questions Answered by Father Gruner, with Father Gruner. I'm John Veneri. We take your questions that you send to us via email. Father Gruner answers them. We have discussions about them. And keep the questions coming. Questions@thefatimacenter.com. That's the email. Questions@thefatimacenter.com. A couple weeks ago, we had a discussion when someone asked, "Are there Freemasons in the hierarchy?" And you explained that.
Well, there are.
That there are.
But I mean, first of all, Freemasonry is it's a false, but it's a religion. It's a pagan religion. It's not using the term in the pejorative sense that but they believe in physical idols, and they believe in multi-gods. Okay, and that's what paganism. Using the term in its proper expense, that's what it means. I mean, it has a lot of other, shall we say, implications. But so, if a person joins Freemasonry, they have gone through a set of rituals in which they've incorporated themselves as a member of this false religion known as Freemasonry. Now, of course, to the general public, Freemasonry is considered like a club, a business club, or a social gathering place. And that's
a college frat for middle-aged men.
Yeah, that's the veneer. That's what they tell the outside world what they are. But they really are a religion in itself. And so, obviously, no one can be a Catholic and belonging to another religion. So whether you belong to the Freemasons, or whether you belong to the Protestants, or whether you belong to the Hindus, or the Jews, or whatever it is, if you join another religion, you're ipso facto no longer Catholic. Mm-hmm. You're excommunicated. Having said that, there are cardinals who have gone through the ritual who still give their first loyalty to Freemasonry rather than the Catholic Church. But ipso facto, by that very act, they have left the Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. But we're talking now, even though they've left the Church because they've excommunicated themselves, the fact is they are carrying on as if they're Catholics. And in that sense, they're Freemasons in the hierarchy. However, in the sense of strictly speaking,
they're subversives.
Well, it's the second thing about this religion is that, there are other religions beyond the Catholic Church who, but are not subversive ipso facto. But Freemasonry, as its tactic, is subversion. Mm-hmm. That is, they pretend to acknowledge the legitimate authority of people in the state or legitimate authority of people in the church, but they act contrary to that authority, both in the state and in the church. Now, they don't do it all the time. They do it when their superiors tell them to do it, mm-hmm. or they do it, when they may do it on their own. I don't know that, but they give their first obedience to their Freemasonic masters, and they will subvert the church as part of their obedience to the Freemasonry.
So that leads us to the question about that. It says, with Freemasons, a hierarchy, do you believe then that the gates of hell are penetrating our Lord's church?
No, first of all, the church gates of hell will not prevail against it. Our Lord never said that the gates of hell would not strike against the church. In fact, we have the scriptural passage of Genesis 3:15 that God says, to Adam and Eve, that, and it says actually to the serpent, "I'll put enmity between you," meaning the devil, "and your seed, your followers, and between the woman," meaning the Blessed Virgin Mary, "and her followers, her seed, and that you will strike at her heel, and she will crush your head." So this enmity in the whole world, it's whether it's whether we see it inside the church only, we see it's everywhere. Mm-hmm. That in turn that the gates of hell certainly try to destroy the church, and certainly put up barriers to the church being more effective than it is, but it doesn't prevail against the church.
Well, we also know, I can't remember where it is in St. Paul, but Paul talks about, he doesn't say beware of the enemy outside, he says beware of false brethren.
Yes.
So even at the time of St. Paul, there were false brethren, men pretending to be
members of the church who are not really.
Yeah.
And St. Jude in his epistle also, it's a short epistle, it talks about that there are those who were never among us. And of course, the same thing with Judas is considered. Even at the apostolic level, one of the 12 chosen by Christ Himself betrayed Christ. Mm-hmm. And so this betrayal of the church at this level is, and I believe it's in the third secret. Of course, that's the reason why they haven't revealed it to us, because they've given us part of it. Excuse me. But the part that talks about the false brethren in the hierarchy destroying the church from within, is, I believe, part of the church. In fact, we know that from in our book, Devil's Final Battle, we talk about, and you have the statement of Pope John Paul II at Fatima saying that the message of Fatima is a warning not to follow the tail of the dragon that drags down 1/3 of the stars of heaven. But we know that 1/3 of the stars of heaven are the priests, bishops, and cardinals, and 1/3 of them are working for the devil. And so, but no, the church will survive this like it survived everything else. At the same time, it's not there, but definitely it's bad for souls and it's bad for the church. But it's not. I don't know about penetrating, but it's certainly not. Our Lord said they would not prevail.
Right. Yes.
The devil will not prevail.
So they are subverting, but they're not prevailing.
Yes. They will not. In the long run, they will not prevail.
So, okay, well, thank you for that, Father. That's all for today's episode, and we will return next time. Thank you.